Good morning, crypto friends. This is Miroslav from ICO Hunch, and today I'm very honored to speak to Jure Z, CEO of 0xcert. Jure, thank you very much for being on our channel. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Jure, please briefly introduce yourself and tell us something about your background.
Okay, so like you said, I am one of the two founders of 0xcert, also the CEO. We started with this project late 2017. Before that, I've been actually in quite a few roles throughout my professional career, starting with, I actually built and sold my first company in my student years, an e-commerce business. After that, I went on to work for several startups. The two most notable was Databox in Boston, where I was the director of marketing. After that, I was at Doctrina, where I was the head of growth, and where we actually came to this idea of what we're doing right now. By heart, I'm an entrepreneur. I love building things. I love the latest technology. I love building great teams. I love working with great people. Yeah, and that's kind of, I'm also a musician in my free time, if that counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's not forget that Jure is also a kick-ass clarinetist. People can check out 0xcert explainer video called Supporting Uniqueness, where you do a quite cool solo.
Yeah, thanks. Check it out.
And I'm really glad to hear that you have such a huge amount of entrepreneur experience. That's very good to see that a company has such a good leader. Glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So before we dive into 0xcert value proposition, can you please briefly explain to our viewers what are non-fungible tokens and what is so unique about them, pun intended?
Yeah, so yeah, they are unique tokens, like you said. So the easiest way to explain this, and I've been explaining this to people for the last 4 months, the easiest way is if they've heard of CryptoKitties before. So CryptoKitties was kind of like the inception of non-fungible tokens.
Right.
They started off as, you have these small little kittens, beautiful and cuddly kittens that you could actually store in your Ethereum wallet. And each kitten that you have is kind of has its own properties, right? So there's not two alike of them. So no two are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole concept of non-fungible tokens basically, if you look at ERC20, which is by default a fungible token,
right?
What it represents is value. So if I have 3 of Tron tokens and you have 3 Tron tokens, we have the same thing, which is not the case with non-fungible tokens, because with non-fungible tokens, each token is unique and each token can hold an information that is completely unique, that can describe either ownership or something else. But in essence, this opens up. So it started with CryptoKitties. It's now moving really fast in the gaming sector. But if you look at it, the potential of applying these non-fungible tokens to everything out there, so the physical assets, to digital assets, any kind of unique one-of-a-kind assets is now possible. So and I can also make an announcement while we're at it. So the ERC 721, which is the standard that describes non-fungible tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, was just confirmed a few days ago. So now it's the final version, and one of the key people behind it was also William Entricken, who is also our key advisor, our very close friend, and he helps us a lot. So we're very happy that went through, and I think this is also important for our project as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very good news. And yeah, we'll talk about William in just a few moments. So this is where the 0xcert comes in, right? So what problem is 0xcert going to address, and what is the value proposition of 0xcert?
Well, the way I try to describe this to people is by looking very simply at online payments and Stripe, if you know Stripe. So if you're going to build an online payment system, you can do it yourself from scratch. You can go and connect all the, build a code that connects all the bank servers, that does all the transactions. You can, build all the front end for yourself, or you could use, I think Stripe has like a few lines of code to integrate, and then you're off, and you can start charging people on your website using, through MasterCard, Visa, or any other payment. Now, how we came to this project and this idea was that Christian, who is my co-founder and also the CTO, he's been in open source for more than 15 years. And his idea was that, we knew that this is going to be big. We believe that non-fungible tokens are going to explode in the next few, if not in the next few months, at least in the next few years. And there has to be some kind of, easier way to do that.
Right.
Because there's all these different companies out there that want to use this technology. And we know that for a fact. OpenSea did a research that they presented at Dallas 721 in February, that there's currently 3 companies a day launching on 721.
Oh, wow.
So, you could either, in the next 6 months, you could hire or educate and hire 100,000 blockchain developers.
Yeah.
And you give them a way to do that really easily. So that's essentially what we wanted to build, was like a really simple protocol and framework that allow people to easily issue, manage, verify, and do all these different operations with non-fungible tokens, along with all the tools. So just to give you an example, one of our primary tools is called the Minter, which allows you to, I think it's 8 lines of code, either in JavaScript, Ruby, Python, any other programming language. You can then, issue your non-fungible token, deploy your non-fungible token contract that allows you to issue these non-fungible tokens. And if you go to manager.0xcert.org, we've already put up sort of like a user interface thing where you can actually go and mint your very own non-fungible tokens. It's still on Robston, it's still on testnet, but it shows kind of what we're trying to do. Another tool that we've already started building, and it's not yet complete, but it can be used already, is the scanner. So the scanner allows you, we've actually went out and scanned all the ERC 721 contracts out there. So just like you have Ether scanner for Ether transactions, you now have the 721 scanner for these specific types of contracts and transactions and these tokens. So, when the easiest way to explain is, what our philosophy and what our vision is, we want to be the guys. When you want to build a project on non-fungible tokens in half a year's time, we want to be the guys that will ultimately provide you everything you need to do this. And this includes, everything from the developers framework to the conventions that are built on top of 721. So one of the ideas that we have is that 721 is going to be big, and that big that we'll have to build. So we have to have conventions for academic degrees, conventions for identity, conventions for rare arts. So all these different kind of categorization buckets on top, which will allow you to work with these and assure interoperability down the road.
Absolutely.
And the third thing that I also like to point out is the so-called issuer verification registry, which is a bit more technical, but ultimately what it allows you is that you know that whoever is issuing you this fungible token is the verified issuer. So he is the guy who he claims he is.
Absolutely.
And so the easiest way, I think, is still go with the Stripe and just try to provide as much value to developers to build on top of this, because we know this is going to be really big in the near future.
Understood. So basically, in other words, 0xcert is like an open source protocol for standardized and, importantly, certified non-fungible tokens you mentioned about. And also, so pretty much it translates one-of-a-kind digital or real-world asset into a non-fungible token, and with a unique proof of ownership available from the blockchain, right? So I personally like the idea, because right now we have many projects in the ICO sphere that are trying to deliver something on blockchain, even though it doesn't make sense to do it on a blockchain just for the sake of using blockchain. Yeah. But 0xcert has a very good use case for blockchain use, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just to empower that statement, we started with certification, and certification by its nature is something that you would want to have on blockchain. So it's not something you're putting on blockchain because of the hype and the trend and everything that's going on in this space. But you would want to have, some kind of proof stored that you did that education, that you achieved that goal, that you own that property. So things like that. I mean, it is what we believe. This is the kind of what blockchain was essentially built for. And it's now just beautiful that it's not only used for financial transactions anymore,
Mm-hmm.
for financial stuff. It's actually moving into the real world with things that we're dealing on an everyday basis.
Right, absolutely. And I also, two interesting facts I read in your white paper is that you're working on a decentralized exchange, and that right now you're on Ethereum, but you're looking to expand. Can you please elaborate on those 2 points?
Yeah, so decentralized exchange is just one of the components that we saw is necessary for the whole protocol and the whole project.
Right.
So like I said, one is the minter, then you have the decentralized exchange, then you have the ability to actually do an auction with the 0xcert.
Nice.
So, in terms of what we want to provide is essentially as much value as we can for the developers, and
Mm-hmm.
whatever is needed that we could help them with. So these are all different tools. What was the second part of the question?
The being blockchain agnostic, I
Oh,
believe.
right. Yes. Again, I think Ethereum is a great platform.
Right.
It's extremely good for kicking things off. So for starting, going into unexplored depths, starting new paradigms. I think why we chose Ethereum was because, well, this non-fungible token concept was around already before crypto.
Mm-hmm.
It actually got to life with them.
Yeah.
It got to this critical mass. People started to think about it. People started to understand what's behind the non-fungible tokens. And I see that progression from Ethereum to other blockchains is just something that is pretty natural to us in terms of being the platform that provides this technology to a wider audience, because we know that not everybody's going to want to build on Ethereum. They want to explore other blockchains as well. This is one reason. The second reason is, while we're not afraid that much about security on Ethereum, we are a bit afraid of the scalability. Like, when CryptoKitties came out for 2 days, the whole Ethereum blockchain got clogged up completely.
It's very well known.
So I think it's important for us, we're not the decision makers in terms of scalability, and we can't advise you on which blockchain you should use. Our goal and our mission is here to provide as much value to the developers. So if that means that we have to build another blockchains like WAN chain or any other, that's just something that we're willing to go forward with.
Very well. Excellent. Okay, so as you mentioned, you have started working on a project in 2017. Can you please tell us what progress have you made so far, and what you have already developed, and what have you achieved?
Yeah, so in terms of maybe it's a good story to tell. We've actually, me and Christian were working at this startup before together. He was the CTO there. I was the head of growth. And Doctrina was it still is one of the largest online education providers for pharmacists and doctors in the Europe region. And what we did over there is we issued more than 500,000 certificates every year. And we kind of started to think about, how could we use blockchain for that? Because it seemed a very good use case, like I said before. So one of the solutions that were already out there was BlockCert, which was an open source project from MIT, but it was built for Bitcoin's blockchain. And we started to explore that. We started to build something on it. Christian has been in this blockchain space for a very, very long time already. Me, as sort of like a trader or a technology lover, not doing that much coding. But when we started to build this, and somewhere around December, when CryptoKitties came out, this was like a revelation to us. And we said, well, if 721 can really do what CryptoKitties, what it did with CryptoKitties, I think it's something that we should use exactly. And so the first idea was to go with do a platform that would allow certification. People would pay for it, and that's it. Christian came in with his background and with his open source mindset and said, we have to build something that will empower more people. It's not about us. It's about, giving this out to the community, contributing something, and trying to find a way to do this so that this whole technology could get adopted better. And so that's when it took off. We left our jobs back there. We were extremely fortunate to have the founders of Doctrina actually back us up. And they said, you guys go and build this. We believe in you. And they're actually our first angel investors as well. So I think that's still the best way to quit a job. If you
Absolutely.
But yeah, the first kind of breakthrough that we had was when we started to build on Ropsten. We in the last quarter we did the decentralized exchange is an alpha, was tested out. The Minter is up and running on Ropsten as well. The whole idea behind the project was kind of formed. The team was formed. William got on board somewhere around, I think, March, April. And also this new smart contract called 0xcert was built back then. So the 0xcert smart contract basically lies on top of the 721 and allows you to implement all these different metadata to it, like I explained before, because you need to have all these different verticals covered.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of the progress that we've made, I think it's just phenomenal that we have 6 developers on board. So much great work has been done. And this is important, not just for our project, but also for the 721 standards. William being the key proponent here, the key guy to push it forward. Us being the guys in the back to support any way we can this community in terms of either technology or in terms of spreading the word. We've been talking about 721 for the last 3 months like crazy.
Great to see that you have so much progress and you have a MVP pretty much. And because recently we see too many projects with just white paper, and it's really great to see that you have a pretty much almost ready product prior to the sale.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us a bit more about your future plans and your roadmap?
So regarding our roadmap, we want to complete this first implementation and put it on mainnet by this fall, so in Q4. So the protocol, which consists of all these different components, from decentralized exchange to the Minter to the ability to have the auction run on top of 0xcert, the whole 0xcert smart contract that lies on top of it. So everything, including the libraries that will support Node.js, Ruby, JavaScript, we want to have that up and running until fall. And then in the next year, what I think is really exciting is on our roadmap is the issuer verification registry. It's a crucial component to kind of the whole picture that we want to paint with 0xcert. And I think that it's important not only for us to get there, but also for the whole community, because in that time we will also move this whole project to a foundation. And that's where also our one of the utilities of our token is governance, and that's where also the utility of that comes in. So we want to make this a completely open protocol, a completely open source project. We are not the owners of this. We will just build it, put it out there, make sure we're good custodians in the beginning, but then we wanted the community to be kind of the guys who manage this and oversee it.
Excellent. Yeah, I really like that you plan to empower the community. So the idea you plan to execute is really big undertaking, and the timeline you have set for yourself is also ambitious in my opinion. So in order to execute the idea, you need to have a strong team. You mentioned you have 6 developers. Can you tell us a bit more about your team and advisors you have on board?
Yeah, so in terms of team, like I said, me and Christian has been a tech guy for as long as I can remember. Then we have Leon, who is a full stack engineer with huge experience. Then we have Tadej, who is, I call him the wizard of stability. You can check his GitHub as well. He's great. We don't have, so I had this comment the other day, we don't have people who've been working at Ethereum before Consensus, but I think it's still a rock star team. David, who is our front-end guy, extremely driven, motivated guy. He just pushes things forward, which is amazing. Luca, he's kind of like the blockchain senior. He knows not just Solidity or Ethereum, he knows kind of the whole spectrum of technologies out there, which is extremely important when you do that. Then we have William. William is also our advisor.
Right.
And William is the lead author of ERC 721. He's probably one of the smartest people I know out there. And we've actually had the opportunity and the privilege to host him here in Slovenia in our offices. And we were hanging around for a few days. We had a few workshops with him. He also did the presentation. And it's just amazing, when you see people that are really that really want to contribute, really want to move things forward, that are, that see things that are beyond at least my perspective for the next few years. And his vision and his ideas on this particular non-fungible token space are spot on. Also, in terms of advisors, we have Mo Levin, who is a very known figure in the blockchain space. He has been really helpful in terms of putting us in front of people. He knows a lot of people from the blockchain. Then we have Dušica, who is our fintech advisor, Draško, who is our fintech advisor, and he was also one of our first advisors who was really pushing us forward, helping us get this project up and running. Mark Pui, who is one of the first investors to the 0x project, and the others as well. Then we have Simon, who is he calls himself mad scientist from Metabase, but he's an extremely smart guy, and when we have certain problems, we know who to talk to. He's one of them. In terms of team, I skipped a few of them. Urban is our head of community. He's more taking the role of as kind of like the chief strategic officer right now, because he's been flying around a lot lately, making new deals, talking to people. Then we have Mitya. Mitya co-founded before. He has amazing experience in crypto world, and the way he knows the markets and how things turn around, it's just, it's invaluable for us. So a lot of great people on board. I think I myself, I'm extremely fortunate to work with these people. It's just it's just great to be surrounded with that much enthusiasm, that much courage, and pushing things forward all the time. It's beautiful.
Excellent. Yeah, you were able to assemble quite a large and impressive team. William is a rock star, and Mo is also very, very well known in the community. So I know that you're still hiring. You're looking for some positions to fill in. Can you share with our viewers what positions are you looking to fill in right now?
Yeah, so my philosophy, or I can say our philosophy, is that we never shut down doors to anyone. Right now, what we're looking at is basically get some strength on the tech side. We think it's extremely important for us to have as many smart people on board as we can, because like I said with William, you never know when you get somebody who has like a little different perspective but can see the future that might not be on our roadmap right now. So we want to build up this tech team as good as we can, but we're not closing doors to anybody. So I'm really passionate about working with people who are driven, who want to make a change, who want to do something, who want to leave something behind, like a testament of their work. And if there's anybody out there, not just in tech space, in marketing, in crypto, in all these different areas, in design, feel free to reach out, and we'd love to talk to you. I think it's important to not let anybody behind who would love to join the team and who can share the vision that we have right now.
Excellent. Yes, glad to hear that. I really like your philosophy. All right, so let's talk partnerships. Are you at liberty to disclose any partnerships or investors?
We can disclose what's public, what's already on our website. We have, the way to put this the right way is that we have some really amazing partnership in our pipeline. We will know more in the following week. This is also one of the reasons why we had to just decided this yesterday that we will postpone our pre-sale until July 2nd, which I think is important for the viewers to know as well. Our crowd sale still stays on July 4th. But we have this really amazing partnership in our pipeline, and I'm actually flying to San Francisco on Wednesday to confirm that. Now, in terms of other partners that we have on board, one of the most notable ones is that we are part of the project led by UNESCO, which is backed by the European Commission on open education and open learning. So what 0xcert does over there is we are kind of the underlying technology that does the micro-credentialing for students. Now, their goal is they're actually developing, this is from Institute of Josef Stefan. They're developing a platform that will allow you to in 10 years' time, for example, if you want to be an astronaut, you will have to go to this AI system will tell you you have to go to this university, do that course, go to that university, do that course. Kind of just roadmap or blueprint of what's the steps you need to go through to achieve that. And on every step of the way, you will get some kind of certification that you've actually achieved it. And this is where we come in.
Okay.
And this whole thing actually started with one of our sort of like MVP projects. What we did in the beginning of this year when we launched this, we said, where can we validate our project is, or our idea is something that could be used in any kind of segment, in any kind of industry. And that's when the idea about academia is brought up. So if you go to academia.0xcert.org, we have a webpage there that, it's not live right now because we put this on hold, but academia is essentially the first certification, the app for educational institutions, universities, so that, in a few years' time, maybe, when you will be, when you'll complete your studies, when you graduate, you'll get your degree as a non-fungible token in your wallet. We've actually made quite some progress back in the beginning of this year with academia. We have 2 bigger networks of academic institutions on board with over 400 universities. We have the largest network of universities in Bangladesh. We have a few universities from China, almost all the private schools in the Central European region.
Nice.
But this was kind of like, the validation part where we said, are all these academics and these institutions and these organizations open for blockchain? Is this something that, they're looking at? Is there something that they're willing to do? And I think it's extremely important for us to, push this forward also in terms of the standardization, because eventually there is going to be some kind of standard that will be used for this kind of certification. And we want to provide that. So we have the know-how, we have the technology in the back. We're also talking to some people from the European Union and EEP that would, help us push this forward as a standard way of issuing these degrees. Because essentially, what this does is, and I like to tell this story a lot, it mimics what happens in real life. And this was not possible before. Because before, when you had a certificate, basically you just had the proof written in a hash and then store that in a transaction on the blockchain, and you couldn't do anything about it, right? You always needed a third party that would verify it. Right. But now, it's just like in real life, right? You get the degree in your hands when you graduate. So they send you a token in your wallet. If you don't like it, you can throw it away. Or you can also burn that token. You can throw it away as well. You can send it to someone else, just like you would give it to somebody else. Right. And the most important component here is so the issuer of these non-fungible tokens has the ability to reissue these certificates or to revoke them, which is again the same as in real life, right? You can get your diploma or your title taken away, or if you lose your paper, you can get issued another one. And all of these kind of things actually got us to thinking about it, got us to start out the academia at the beginning, and it was we got very good reception before moving on to building a wider platform. So like I said, the Institute Josef Stefan with UNESCO project is very big. We've also received funding from the European Union for the academia project.
Excellent.
We're working with AY. AY is helping us a lot in terms of making sure that regulatorily we're good, that everything is okay in terms of jurisdiction that we're in, because we're not doing this offshore, and I like to stress that out. We're launching everything as a normal limited company from Slovenia.
Nice.
There's no British Virgin or Caymans or stuff like that involved. Then we're working with Knowledge for All, which is a company that does crowd-sailed industrial design. We're working with them on a platform that will allow them to do these designs as non-fungible tokens. And there's 2 partners that are already building with our platform. These are GLaDOS, really good idea in education. You should check these guys out. And Principal Network, which is also kind of solving the micro-identity problem with our technology. But I think that the partnership that we will announce in the next week, if everything is okay, will be the biggest one so far. That's why we also had to postpone our pre-sale. We have the biggest impact that that we can actually have right now.
Very well. Well, quite impressive partnerships, and good luck with the meeting in San Francisco. I hope it works out.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So, and 0xcert has attended several conferences lately. And where can we meet you next?
Yeah. So the last big one was we were actually simultaneously in New York and London. Urban and his team were at World Blockchain Forum, where it went amazing for us. I think a lot of great new partnerships, people, also a lot of people who wanted to work for us as proud up there. So that's good. We have like a nice pipeline already of people who are interested in what we're doing. And I was at the time was at CogX, London. I was at the panel for non-fungible tokens that was led by Chris Berniski. We had guys from Pantera, guys from Verisart, and me discussing the future of non-fungible tokens. I think it was an extremely good panel, so you should look it up online, and I think the whole video is on YouTube. So go check that out. Amazing conversation around what the future is, where we're going, what's happening in this space. The next stop for us is I will be, like I said, in San Francisco next week. So if you're around, hit me up, let me know. I'll be glad to discuss more. And after that, we're attending, I think, what will be the first of its kind conference and really important one for non-fungible tokens and gaming in Hong Kong. It's called Nifty. You can look it up at nifty.gg. And the whole conversation, or the whole agenda around there will be structured around non-fungible tokens, how these are right now implemented in games, what's the future of it. There'll also be a hackathon back in with the event. And I think it's just it's a great event to be at. If you're around, definitely come and look at it.
Excellent. Sounds good. So note for the viewers, this is not a financial advice, but whitelist and KYC is open for 0xcert. Pre-sale opens on July 2nd with 10% bonus. Crowd sale is scheduled for July 4th, and 0xcert team is looking to raise 20,000 Ethereum, which is around 9 million at the time of this recording. And link to 0xcert website, white paper, and Telegram are below in the description. So make sure to do your own research. Jure, any last remarks you would like to share with our viewers?
Yeah. So first of all, thanks for everybody who listened the whole way through. Maybe something that I would like to I like to tell people this in the last few months a lot. There's a reason why it took ERC20 so long to get to the adoption that it has today. So ERC20 was started in 2015. It's now worth around $60 billion, the whole ERC20 market. And the ERC 721 we think is the next big thing. We believe that all these physical assets out there are going to be moved to the blockchain. Anyway, you can jump on this bandwagon. I think you should try and jump on it. So it's the technology that will surely change how we do things in the future. If you are somebody who is interested in technology, if you're a developer or interested in this, you are most welcome to reach out to us for any kind of collaboration, building on top of our platform. We're just extremely excited to work with all these people out there that reach out to us on a daily basis, trying to learn more about it, trying to build things on top of it, asking us, is that possible? And there's this one story that I like to, one partnership that I like to tell people about. A guy approached us at Consensus who wants to do a crypto forest. And his idea is to actually sell trees in a forest as non-fungible tokens. Now, when I heard of this first, I was a bit skeptical. I didn't know what's the agenda. But it turned out that it's huge potential in terms of what these forests can represent, because it's not just the tree, it's also the carbon quota, carbon print that they provide. Because throughout the world you have this regulatory stuff that any company or any industry can only have that much emissions per year based on the quota that they got. And if they want to do more emissions, they have to buy additional quota. This guy was extremely smart because he also told me he was a friend of Don Tapscott, and Don just recently announced his project Carbon X, which is a trading platform for these quotas. And so essentially in a few months' time, you'll be able to buy a tree on blockchain, hopefully with the help of our platform. And you'll be able to get some kind of quota for these trees, which you'll be able to trade them with all these companies that need them. You'll be able to sell them basically online. So I think this is just kind of one of the scenarios, one of the cases that this space is moving into. I think it's an extremely good space. I think it's an extremely huge opportunity for anybody out there to jump on board this bandwagon. And we're here to help. So if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, feel free to reach out.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jure, for being on our channel, and I wish all the best to yourself and to 0xcert project.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you guys very much for watching. If you found the video informative, please give the video a like, share and subscribe. Take care and see you in the next one.